This is called Trigger's Broom. Boys! I've got some bad news for you, said Franklin, closing the dressing room door behind him. Chaz, he elaborated, and there really is no easy way of saying this. He picked up a handful of crisps from the bowl on the dressing table and stuffed them into his mouth. Chaz, well, he's dead. Selfish bastard, snorted Kenny, cracking the cap from his third bottle of Ryder Lager and downing half of it in a single swig. He flicked the tin cap towards Gordon, their bassist, who was busy demolishing the last of the sandwiches. How dead? Asked Sid, a drummer of few words. Completely dead, the manager assured him. No. He meant Al, as in Aldi die, you twat. Kenny cut in, finishing his bottle and lobbing it into the corner of the room where it duly smashed against the bare brick wall and fizzed down to the floor. Hope it was slowly. Gordon, chimed Franklin. In fact, all of you, this is a sad moment. He pulled the bottle of vodka from the crate on the table but found it empty. He tutted and glared across at Sid and opened another. Now boys, I know you've all had your differences, but come on, he insisted, pouring them each a generous measure. Show some respect for the dead. And he raised his plastic beaker in salute. To Chaz, he toasted. 35 years in the same band, one of this country's finest, if underrated musicians, its most influential of songwriters and incorrigible of alcoholics. He died at 3:10 this morning of a massive heart attack, dead before his chin hit the keys, according to the paramedic, but doing what he enjoyed doing most in life. Banging 10 bells of shit out of the Joanna in the hotel bar whilst everyone within earshot lined up the drinks. The remaining members of the band reluctantly raised their caps. To Chaz, Franklin insisted. Chaz, they morosely conceded. Twat, added Kenneth. Right, Franklin snapped, screwing up his empty cup and bouncing it off of Kenny's bald head. To business. Choked as we may be, this does leave us with something of a dilemma. How about Billy Bagnall, motioned Gawler from the corner. He's easily as good on the old tinklies as Chaz ever was, and he never shirks his round. Give him a call, he only lives up the road. We got a couple of hours, we could blag it. Franklin held up his hands to halt the barrage of suggestions that were about to be fielded. Boys, he implicated. Finding a replacement pianist is going to be the least of your worries, I'm afraid. And anyway, tonight's been paused. Oh no, Kenny warned, popping another lager. We're not cancelling this tour. No way, Frankie. No frigging way. This is my pension fund. One last time, you said. One last lap round the block, you said, and we never have to see each other or play these bleeding songs again. He might even have done us a favour, said Gordon. I mean, think of all the extra publicity. Publicity we won't actually have to fork out for. Have you got Billy's number, Frank? I'm sure he'd do it. Last I heard, he was collecting up the glasses down the Frog and Ferret. Poor sotty. Waste of talent, agreed Kenny. Look, boys. And stop calling us boys, Frankie. We're all old enough to be your granddads. OK, gentlemen, will you all please shut the fuck up and listen for a minute? Thank you. Now, the problem is not who to replace him with. There's any number of pianists out there who do a better, soberer job than Chaz. No. The problem is that with Chaz dead and Ricky still at Her Majesty's pleasure, you are no longer the truculent teens. I ain't been a teen for 40 years, said Gordon. We've replaced members before, Frankie, Kenny reminded him. It's no big deal. They're paying for the songs anyway. Yes, Franklin agreed, but played by the original artists. We are the original artists, more or less. Franklin pulled a cigar from his top pocket and snipped its tip and took his time lighting it. Really? He eventually asked, exhaling a plume of woody, leaf-mouldy smoke ceilingwards. Not without Chaz, you know. He turned back to the drummer. How long you been a truculent teen, Sid? Man and boy, mate. Man and boy. Me and Ricky, we was at art school together. You Yeah, actually you were the fourth drummer in, Sid. Yeah, but I've been here the longest. It doesn't matter. You didn't play on any of the hits. I was on Teen Tantrum. That was a seminal album, that was. John Peel said so. You were on Teen Tantrum Live, Sid. That's not the same thing. Yeah, I was the original rhythm guitar rap, Kenny. Yes, you were, admitted Franklin, but there wasn't any rhythm on the first album. And up until 20 years ago, Gordon here was still slapping for Dave Electric, so it's a case of Trigger's Broom, isn't it? With Chaz gone and Ricky not due for parole for another 10 years, you lot are effectively no more than a tribute act, and not a very good one at that. He smiled and puffed on his stogie. None of you looks like an original member. Hold on, Sid suddenly piped up from the back. I'm sure I was on Teen Tantrum. You were the engineer, Sydney, Kenny reminded him. You rode the faders, you worked for the record company, remember? He didn't. Sid frowned and licked the salt from the bowl that had once held the peanuts. Kenny poured himself another rock and roll measure vodka. We've done 2 world tours and a studio album since Ricky went down. I didn't hear the fans complaining that Chaz and I were sharing Ricky's vocals. And I even wrote some of the lyrics on that. I've given 30 years of my life to this band. I've got as much right as anyone to front it now. And anyway, he expanded, do you know how many managers we've gone through since 1978? Franklin opened another bag of crisps and poured himself a top-up of rapidly diminishing spirit. That's hardly the 12, said Kenny, adding, you only got the job because you convinced Chaz that you were his son. Now he's not here, you're on shaky ground, mate. Franklin raised his hands in surrender. Look. I'm not the problem here, Kenny. It's the promoter. He paused, puffed, then added, oh, and Melvin. Who the bloody hell's Melvin? Asked Gordon, tipping the last of the Smarties down his throat. Melvin was your original bass player. I don't remember a Melvin, said Sid. That's because you weren't in the band back then. You worked for the record company, remember? Kenny snapped as he lit himself a cigarette. I remember Melvin, he said, dragging hard. Geeky git. Why, what's he got to do with anything? He went back to college, if I recall. Top marks, Kenny. Yes, he went to study law. He became a lawyer. Well, he continued, Melvin reckons it was him who came up with the name. He's been niggling away at Chaz for the last couple of years, but Chaz said he could prove otherwise. Oh, and now he's gone. Precisely gone. So what's he want? Kenny wondered. Back in the band because we finally got a spot at Glastonbury? We couldn't be that lucky, could we? No. He wants a cut of 35 years. Kenny snorted. That would bankrupt us. Precisely. So what is the promoter's problem? Asked Gordon, finally full. Franklin paced the cellar room, sucking and puffing. He was enjoying this. He'd just inherited his father's royalties. Mm-hmm. You hit the nail on the head before, Kenny, when you said it was all about the songs. It is. We know that, and they know that. But with Chaz playing them, they're prepared to pay top dollar. Without, I'm afraid, they ain't. Surely there's got to be some room for negotiation, Gordon inquired. Tried that. Bottom line is, boys, that they found a tribute act who look like the original lineup and sound exactly like the original lineup and are young enough not to make the name sound ironic. And, best of all, can do it sober. And you want to know the best bit? Nobody answered. They'll do the tour for half what you want. So finish up your riders, boys, and get your coats. Your replacements will be here in an hour. So what are we supposed to do now? Kenny again. Fade away, mate. Fade away. Oh, and Kenny, having one of your old managers advising them is actually seen as a bit of a curse.